And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. And joining me today is Michael Smith, the founder of Boston Carnival Village, also a publisher for culture, people, places in Trinidad and the land of Tobago.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, I'm always honored to have you on my show, and we are here to look at your books and also the future of Boston Carnival Village, considering the coronavirus that has everybody handicapped, so to speak.
Right.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your culture, people, places, Trinidad and Tobago.
Culture, people, places, Trinidad and Tobago. For years, anybody that knows me, I've been photographing a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I decided recently, because a few things changed.
Yes.
I've done the exhibition, I've done etc. I say, I'm going to publish a book.
Yes.
And a couple things fell into place. Kids all grown up,
Yes. Congrats
retired.
on that.
So I decided I was going to go back to Trinidad
Yes.
because I haven't been there. That's my birth country
Right.
for years. So I went down there in January, early February, and just walk about and photograph
Yes.
everything in sight.
Beautiful.
That sort of interests me. With the idea of putting together a book called Culture, People, Places, Trinidad and Tobago when
Yes.
I return. So it's a kind of a new venture I'm sort of on.
Right.
Because I not only want to do this to Trinidad and Tobago, I want to do it to my parents' birth country, which
Right.
is Grenada, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. Well, I know that you have your hand into many things, not only Trinidad and Tobago, but you are solid in the arts and culture when it comes to Boston. You have the
and
Boston
Caribbean
Carnival,
culture. Yes.
Caribbean culture. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So is this book in any way captures anything in Boston or specifically Trinidad and Tobago?
This book is specific Trinidad and Tobago. That one, their culture lives here.
All right.
It's
Right.
specific to Boston.
Oh, yes. I reckon you have Boston
Yes, that
Trinidadians.
book there is specific about Boston Carnival, who created it, etc., etc. And all the photographs in there is on
Right.
Boston Carnival.
Right. Well, I mean, with this, bearing this in mind, I see you already have the foundation. I think these should be in schools. I mean, I will have to got this book, especially this book, in every Trinidadian primary school. I think it puts the mind in a place of what Trinidadians are doing in Boston, what the impact they have in America as a whole.
Yep.
And I think young people needs to know about their culture, where the roots are spread to, and what are in store for them as they grow and become young adults. Do you have any plans to put this book in schools, or are you?
Well, what I'm trying to do is hopefully get it into the hands of people that has the know-how to help me get it there. You see
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because as much as I know, I don't know everything.
Right.
But I'm hoping from talking to people like yourselves, oh yeah, Mike, I think this will work, etc., etc.,
Right.
etc. That's what I would want to do. And
Yes.
there's also in this book, it really tells them the people who started Boston Carnival,
Right.
the true founders of Boston Carnival, why he did it, etc., etc., etc. So it's a wealth of information in that
Right.
one book on Boston Carnival history.
Well, let me just raise it again because it states here, Boston's Trinidadian Inspired Carnival and Photos, Volume 1. So I take it that you have, is there a Volume 2 to this also? Or?
Not
as
available yet.
Okay.
Not available.
Okay. And how many pages are this?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question.
Okay.
Go to the last page.
Okay. Whoa, 309. This is gorgeous.
Yes.
This is really gorgeous. Wow. Well, I think this would definitely be good to educate young people because I think we need to preserve our culture,
Yes.
our roots. And the earlier you can impact that into the minds of young people can make a big difference while they are growing up and so forth. What is in store for your organization in Boston? What's the future like? The coronavirus had sabotaged a lot of businesses.
Everything, period.
It sabotaged everything.
Everything sabotaged.
And even me, that launched our first Red Carpet Award last year, I think it was a success, but we was going to really make it better this year.
Yeah, but that I have to interrupt you on. That was incredible.
Yes.
And a huge surprise. But it was incredible.
Yes.
I gotta tell you.
Well, thank you for that. You know, and one of the things I was thinking about doing this year with that project is to move it a little bit from out of the nonprofit atmosphere and bring it to the standard of an Oscar award or anything like that. But I won't focus on that because we are on your books and the future Boston Carnival Village. But tell me, Michael, where do we really go from here in terms of planning a future and preservation for this culture?
For the Boston Carnival, I really, really wish I had more control. But I see Boston Carnival on a bigger educational level.
Right.
I would like to see the mass camps turning into a teaching tool during the Carnival season.
Yes.
Get grants from the city and support from the TT, where the young kids could go to the mass camps and learn how to make costumes.
Yes.
How to bend wire. Show them videos on the history of the Carnival and get them involved with that. I personally, or Boston Carnival Village, all the kids that show up at these mass camps to do this, I would like to be a sponsor to help them get a band on the street to show their design work, what they learned in the mass camps. So for me, Carnival is bigger than the jump up on the street.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad that you're on that page a little bit because I have thought of transferring some of the concepts of what I do in Newton in terms of promoting the arts and culture, art form in Newton, and bring that concept right here to Attleboro. I was even thinking about having also the Attleboro Premier Award, right? With the same concept as the Newton Universal Engineer Award. I would love diligently to bring the art form up here to Attleboro. And I'll tell you why. I think when I look around me, I see so much wasteland that is concreted, like car park spaces, that you have a nice carnival event on it. You can bring the performing arts culture from here in Attleboro to be a part of it. We can promote this together because at the end of the day, here in Attleboro is somewhat like Boston. It's a very diverse city. And people are looking for ways, especially in these harsh economic times, of utilizing their talent in a way that they can earn some form of money from to keep themselves at a survival state. And I think, and I said it before, I think that the art culture, many nations depend on it as a way of stabilizing themselves economically. I think if we can do something like that here in Attleboro, and not if we can, I will do that at some point. I just want to take some time out to probably sit down and speak with the mayor or someone to that capacity here in Attleboro and give them the vision. Because often government doesn't see how impactful and economically speaking that having carnivals like this can contribute to the gross domestic product and the gross national product of their cities. We see it happen in Canada. I think we discussed that the last time. They use this as a way of developing their income and it skyrocket, right? And I think for a place like Attleboro, it's like a virgin spot that waiting to be explored, waiting
Right.
to be launched. And if you can groom the people up here to be participants, they can do good economically for themselves.
True.
And the city can draw economic
Not
enrichment
only that,
also.
I think in a city like Attleboro, you want to do it slightly differently.
Yes, okay.
Because you want to bring a nice package
Right,
where you bring up a couple of top soca artists
right.
and have them perform around the city over the weekend or one
Well,
place
I'll be
all night.
seeking, when the time is right, I'll be seeking your injection
Right.
into getting this to perform.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I would want to do, as we start honoring people from around the world last year, is that I want to get more Caribbean recipients of awards into this event. Because I
Absolutely.
think by doing that, it perks everybody up to say, you know what, let me get involved in this thing. Because there's something in there that is good for me.
Right.
And the whole idea would be to get the support of the city. And I believe strongly that I would be able to reach out to the mayor, give him a clear vision of what it can do economically for the city and how it can also enrich the residents of this town. And we got all the right people involved.
Right.
We have Andrew Sharp, who is well connected to the Caribbean nation. You, no stranger, you does this. You do this continuously all the time. So it's right here already, right? But getting back to your book, we got exploring black and white, or this exploring black and white photography. Now you can see this look like someplace that I know here.
Zikambronka.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. What this book is really all about? Is this just black and white photos? Or
Yes,
just-
I love black and white photography.
yeah.
I love black and white photography. Everything I literally shoot,
Yes.
I look at it in black and white. So this book again, I decided I was going to do a book on
Yes.
just black and white photography. So a lot of the images that I shot, I process it as
Yes.
black and white
Right.
and present it in this book. So everything in there that is of some interest to me, and I think it really looks great as
Right.
black and white, is presented in this book.
But this is a good way of preserving your work and put them in form of a book form. I
Right.
think this is really good. And I think it's, as I said, collection of work like this is suitable to be in every classroom.
Correct.
And not only the Caribbean region, but I also believe here in Boston, here in Attleboro, even in Newton, kids need to know what the outside world is like.
Sure.
We are not a nation surviving our own.
Yeah.
The world are closely knitted. Everything is to your fingertips now.
Right.
So I believe our knowledge has to be global. We can't sit back and shatter ourselves up in one city or one community and think
Right.
that's where we go. Our wealth is wrapped up in the world, and how we tap into that wealth makes a difference in our livelihood.
Right.
So I think that this very well would have a great impact trying to get it taught to
Absolutely.
to
I mean,
some of the schools here.
A couple of years ago, Boston, I don't know who the organization were, but Boston Public Library
Yes.
contacted me
Okay.
to do something for the kids up there.
Right.
So I pulled a couple of people, get them up there.
Right.
We taught the kids how to make headpieces and all of that good
Yes.
stuff. And everything they made, they put it on, and they had a little parade right inside the library, Boston Public Library.
That's really good.
And they loved it,
Yes.
you see? And things like that I am really want to be more active
Yes.
in terms of the culture and helping bring it to people, you know?
Right. Well, I think corporately how you have to look at this, you have to find some representative who can central purchase a group of your books, because you're not going to waste time trying to sell one book at a time or anything like that.
Right.
You need a central purchasing body that represent a variety of different institutions,
Yes.
whether it be libraries or schools or whatever. And I mean, who best starts is the library. You could introduce one book to a library, and they can tell you, well, this is best channel to go through, so you can have your books go into all libraries. I think that's the best route to take. They're beautiful in every form, not just because they are colorful pictures, but they tell some rich stories. And even to, as you said, to educate children in making this costume is an art form itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is rich. You can even probably offer, as I said before, we had a conversation like this. I even believe a degree of the art form can be centered around your book, your collection of works. It is rich in every form. And it's to get the American culture to embrace it as a part of a diverse culture.
Absolutely. Diversity.
Diversity.
And whatever it
right.
is, yeah.
Because we learn from each other. And no one single nation have the answer, no one single person have the answer. So I think that this have a very impactful meaning to whoever hands it get into. So one of the things you should be creating now is a marketing strategy in terms of how you're going to get
Absolutely.
those books out there.
Well, like you rightfully said, COVID really...
Yeah, COVID destroyed, I'll tell you this much, it's a war.
Yes.
It really is a war, and I think it's the worst war of all kinds because it's an invisible war.
Yes.
And you can't see when you run into a virus. You just catch it, right? You just get gunned down by the virus. And I think that is one of the most vicious wars you can have. And trying to develop a vaccine, and my God, I hope that the vaccine sticks up to its integrity, because right now it's more politically motivated.
We
want this thing done before I'm ready to...
Too politically charged right
and that
now.
can cause a breach of trust.
That's right.
Of the vaccine, and nobody's going to take it. Because if they don't believe in it,
exactly
they're going to
what I
question
was
the integrity.
saying. I said to my family, I says, if they put something out there tomorrow, I'm not touching it.
I'm not going to take it. And this may not necessarily mean it's not a good vaccine.
That's correct.
But it is so much sealed in the environment of political motivation.
That's correct.
Is that you can't take that chance.
It's like putting too many questions in people's head.
Of course.
I said the only way they're going to put that vaccine on me is if I have to go to the hospital and something happens, and they have to give it to me. Other than that, not touching
I'm voluntarily taking, and I believe that there's a lot of people who out there is looking at it from the same point of view. It's too much behind it. The urgency to rush children back into school, we haven't even bring the virus under control yet.
That's right.
And Donald Trump is still saying we have turned the corner. and 23 states gone up red in the increase of viruses.
I mean, this morning, what's the number? 203, 7 million infected, 203,000 or something like that dead. And the numbers just going up and up and up. You know,
it's just going up. And the economy is crippling. It's crippling. And I can give credit where credit is due. There were a time when Trump appeared to be doing well with the economy. But that was from the Wall Street standpoint.
Not only that, he was given a well-running machine from the previous administration.
Yes, and he screwed it up.
That's it.
He screwed it up. You know, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, if you have to do 2 and 3 jobs to make a living, you have a fundamental problem in your country. You should be doing a 40-hour job and able to sustain your family. And for the mere fact that you are doing 2 and 3 jobs, it tells me you doesn't have something wrong, and you don't have insurance either.
That's right.
Because you have to do a full-time job to get insurance.
That's right.
And if you're doing 3 jobs, you're not doing a full-time job. You don't have insurance.
Absolutely correct.
So how good is the economy? You know, and that diminishes the time that you can spend quality time with your children, nourish your children, bring them up the right way. When parents got to be doing this is
smoke and mirrors.
you name it correct. That's a serious thing, you know. That's a serious thing.
But you know, keep plugging on, keep pushing on in the background is the way I see it, you know.
Yes,
Like I said, I just retired, so I have a boatload of time
Right.
that I want to push to my next projects, which is
Right.
publishing and photography. That's
Beautiful,
it.
beautiful.
Self-publish, and photography. The book on Trinidad was
Right.
almost like a dream project because I haven't been back
Yes.
there in years.
In years, right.
I mean, in years.
Oh, I can
And
imagine.
going back, it was just all such
A different place.
to me. Yeah.
When you got to Port of Spain, did it remind you of New York?
No, not really. Not really. It seemed unique to me.
Oh,
I didn't see New York anywhere in Trinidad. It
Oh.
was different.
uh-huh.
A lot more. I found a lot more African people
Yes.
doing a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
They independent, they own businesses, etc., etc. Because
Right.
when I was growing up, the Indo-Caribbeans, they seem to have owned everything.
Yes.
Now that has changed big time. And I say, wow, look at this. They have their own businesses, they're doing a lot of stuff, they're really moving forward. Things was okay when I was there. I had no issues.
Right.
I just went everywhere, photograph everything. If I had a problem was the fact that I decided I wasn't going to drive there.
Well, that would be strange for all these years going back there and driving on the opposite side
I'm
of the
not
road.
going to drive.
I remember I went back to Barbados. It was in 2007.
Yeah.
And I almost ended driving on the wrong side of the road,
Yep,
man.
yep.
It was weird. It was seriously weird trying to drive
Yep.
and keep your...
That was the only thing in my mind. I say I'm going to go on that road and find myself in the wrong lane, and it ain't going to work. But funny enough, after I was there for about a week, everything sort of came back.
Right.
You know, I was saying, oh, okay, this wasn't that bad after you've
Exactly.
been there for a while. You know, it's like learning to ride a bike. You never forget how to
You
do
never-
it. So
that's
once I
true.
dropped back in there, boom,
Yes.
it all came back. So the next trip, I think I'll rent my own vehicle, but
Okay.
was
Okay. So do you think, though, there's any way, because, people can become dormant in mind after something that they have been doing annually for so long had went on the downside. Do you see a way how you can, there's any plans how you is going to go about resuscitating the Carnival village and get things back the way it used to be?
Oh yeah, kind of the online thing, as far as I'm concerned, is still great.
Yes.
I'm sort of doing a little redesign. But if I had more control of the Carnival,
Right.
I would be having serious conversations with the band leaders right now. I would get them together and talk about the future of Boston Carnival, how we can do this better, how we can move better. And during this time, talk to the sponsors.
Right.
Let them know you still need them, what we want to do on the return. You okay?
Yeah.
They broke it.
I gotta get some water. Lose my voice. Oh.
You're locked up.
I'm just gonna get.
All right.
I just want to get some water. Yeah. We just got the food.
Stop the man there. I tell the man fall over. So long I ain't see you. Where's the safety chain?
Yeah, let's go for one time. Get the hook. Okay. Oh. Yeah, my throat went dry there for a second.
Oh, yeah.
That's the beauty of recording, not recording later.
Sorry, Mr. Producer.
Yep. Okay, should probably be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Where were we just now?
So, we back up.
Yes, back up
Yeah.
and ready to go.
So, I would have used this time to speak to them
Yes.
and make some tweaks in how we do things,
Okay.
especially the sponsors. And I mean major sponsors.
Right. I think too it probably cripple some of those who look forward to those vendors who look forward to coming out every year and selling their products and making some extra cash for themselves. We may just see it as a little extra cash, but it really is meaningful.
It's big for these guys.
It's big for these guys.
One, I did a sort of impromptu survey
Yeah.
a few years back, speaking to a couple of the vendors.
Yes.
One guy tells me that's his biggest day for the year.
Yeah.
That one day, he pulls in over $20,000.
And that's good. That's good. That's good for a small person who can
Right.
make that kind of money because
That's correct.
it goes a long way. It goes a long way.
Another big disaster we had. One of the members of the Carnival committee decided it was fantastic to put up railings.
Yes.
Well, as soon as they put up the railings, some of the businesses, all their revenues just dropped to zero. Boom. Because people can't get around the railings
Yes.
to get to the stores.
That's true.
And they never considered that when they decide, oh, we need railings. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I think though, I don't know how the dynamics go when it comes to Boston Carnival Village and the mayor and what they be thinking, but I think they should have somebody designed that they can speak and tell exactly the mayor what should and shouldn't happen.
Correct.
Because when you're going to put up barricades, that's going to block people from getting access into shops and
Well, this didn't come from the mayor's office.
no.
This came from the idiots this came from the people in the Carnival committee
That's crazy.
deciding to put railing up. For what reason, don't know. Now, I could understand at the review stand,
Right.
just in that general area, because you don't want traffic in there. I could understand putting up railings in there and saying, okay, the only people that getting through these gates are the bands.
Yes.
I mean, I came up with a whole nice design just for that,
Right.
right? And the way it was set up, it was just pure.
That's
And I
great.
wish I get
That's
the
great.
opportunity someday to present it to people like the mayor and,
Yes.
and people in charge, because I think it's going to make things more efficient. And the people who pay to go up in the area where the judges are, sort of a review stand, because that area in my proposal,
Right.
in all the nursing homes, we have a lot of elderly people.
Yes.
Don't come out. We will put seating there, have them come out, bring the nurses, whatever,
Okay.
feed them, and they get to see a beautiful parade for
Beautiful.
a couple hours.
Excellent.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Well, Michael, we have come to the end of our program. And I'm going to be looking forward to working with you in the future because I really would love to introduce the Carnival Village and get something on a festival
Absolutely.
thing going up here at Attleboro.
Yep.
At some point, I would make preparation to speak to the city concerning that. And I think it would be a good thing, economically speaking, both for the city
Beautiful
and the
idea.
residents up
Yes.
here. So we keep touching base pretty soon, and feel free. I would love to have you back on the show to speak on further developments concerning
Absolutely.
the Carnival
Absolutely.
Village.
Anytime you're ready,
Sure.
let's get the ball rolling.
Beautiful.
Let's get the
And to
ball
all
rolling.
those who have been tuning in, thank you once again on Living in the 21st Century.